Also new at 6, May is Asian Heritage Awareness Month, and many Japanese Americans fear a crucial part of American history is not only being forgotten, but being kept secret. WREG's Adam Hammond explains how a dark chapter of American history played out right here in the Mid-South and how victims are trying to make sure it doesn't happen again.
The long journey from Fresno, California to the Arkansas Delta isn't new for Tim Taira. This time, the 81-year-old drove his own car, but more than 7 decades ago, the trip wasn't his choice.
We left by train, if you can call it. They were rickety old trains. You put the blinds down as everything else. And then it was a sad moment because as we were pulling out slowly, we could see our home disappear.
Taira was one of 120,000 Japanese Americans to be imprisoned at 10 relocation camps after the bombing of Pearl Harbor and the subsequent war with Japan. Ordered to leave everything they worked for, held by armed men behind barbed wire, only because they looked like the Japanese enemy and might still have ties there.
We lacked one thing, our liberty.
More than 16,000 Japanese Americans were brought from around the country on trains here to the depot in McGee, Arkansas. Almost half of those people were children like Tim. This is Taira when he was just 9 years old, imprisoned at Jerome Internment Camp, then moved here to Rohwer Internment Camp, both now empty fields in Desha County, Arkansas. All that's left is this smokestack and cemetery for those who never made it back home.
I give tremendous credit to the adults for this. They were bound and determined to create a society and a community just like it were outside the fence. And they all pitched in with their expertise.
Even though the Tairas lost their home and jobs, Tim's father, Kaiku, never stopped working and served as the camp's doctor.
All through the war and even during the camp, in spite of what happened to us, our patriotism never failed.
As a young prisoner, even Tim wanted to help the U.S. war effort.
I carefully saved every penny and I used to buy the savings stamps. And one by one, I put them in this little book. And after about 3 years, I finally filled that book up. And I was proud. I ran to the post office and I traded in for a war bond. I finally had a war bond. I was so proud of that, I still have it. I never cashed it in.
Taira says internees were strong patriots because they didn't want U.S. officials to think they supported or secretly worked for Japan. When the war was over, Taira's family and thousands of others like them went home, but what they returned to was almost as bad as being taken away in the first place.
Most of us went back to the West Coast where we came from, and we were not welcome back. We're not wanted. Severe discrimination.
Taira and the people who live in Desha County are making it their mission to spread the word about what happened at Jerome and Rohwer to make sure it never happens again. A Japanese-American internment museum now stands at the depot that welcomed Taira and the other internees to the Delta.
Could you imagine going to the bathroom with 8,000 other people?
Museum curator Heidi Reed hopes tours of the museum, especially to younger generations, will spread awareness about the relocations.
And they have a place to come back and say, hey, we're remembered and what happened to us is no longer a secret.
Reed and victims like Taira fear if Americans aren't educated on this dark chapter of history, we could be doomed to repeat it. In McGee, Arkansas, I'm Adam Hammond, WREG News Channel 3.
Ironically, Tiara's uncle was also interned but volunteered to serve in the 442nd Infantry Regiment. The group was made entirely from Japanese American volunteers and is still one of the most decorated regiments in U.S. history.